It's the fat Piggy Cow. Okay, day one, first recording, first podcast. So we're gonna give you a brief intro, let you know what we're all about. There's a million podcasts out there. Everybody's talking. Everybody's fucking talking. Well, we're gonna talk too. Hopefully you like what we say more than you like what those other guys say. But hey, we're all for everybody succeeding. So we're just gonna add our 2 cents. So who is the fat piggy cow and what is the fat piggy cow? So in short, a fat piggy cow is an American. That's very unflattering. It's a satirical representation of how the American citizen is viewed by people from other countries. They think we're fat, arrogant, and stupid. Ironically enough, the map of the United States looks like a cross between a cow and a pig with short legs. Go check it out. Check out our logo. Trademark. Don't copy our shit. The pig's head, you look at the northeast, New York, Maine, up towards Canada, it looks like a bigoted, arrogant snout of a pig. Now the fat cow hide, if you look at the west coast, that big part of the United States that sticks out past Texas, yeah, that's our fat asses. Now the short stubby legs formed by Texas and Florida, if you look at Texas and Florida, they look like the legs of what this big map of a pig cow looks like. So we're just poking fun at ourselves, being honest, being truthful about how culturally we're represented to the rest of the world, and we need to change that. So we're calling ourselves fat piggy cows because we want to be honest with ourselves and with everybody else about our flawed philosophies that make us look like these idiots that people think we are. So we're poking fun at ourselves, at the same time attacking idiotic ideas that we continue to propagate and stand behind and believe without giving much thought and introspection to. So we're gonna try to add a little bit of a focal lens shift to your perspective and see things a little bit differently, a little bit more wise and a little bit more tolerant, blah, 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 all that other shit. So that's the intro. So I'm Christian McCoy and I'm here with my man, Brian. What's your last name, Brian? Hernandez, that's right. I got him on Instagram, and we got each other's phone numbers, and we know each other well enough, and I did not just then remember his last name, or his phone number. Well, your phone number is 346.
Yeah, just put it out there to the world.
Oh, yeah. Never mind that. Bleep, bleep, bleep. So, yeah, this is day one, topic number one.
It's December the 12th.
It's December 12th, so we're going to mark that, 2018.
Okay, 2018.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's important because people don't realize how long it takes, like, to build anything of value. So, yeah, we're gonna mention that. Yeah, it's 2018, December 12th, and we're not gonna be millionaires probably for another 12 months. So, you guys still have access to us, but don't get used to that. So, it'll be real specific and real simple today. We're gonna talk about. What did we say we're going to talk about?
Whatever comes to mind.
Well, we got a specific idea. Okay. A while ago, I'm sure everyone's heard about the stand your ground issue in Florida where the old guy shoots the dude, the black guy, as people like to say, because that gives them some sense of conclusive direction that they can draw on when they know the race of people, although I don't really give a fuck what race they are. So we're looking at these stand your ground laws and trying to pick apart flaws within the law that give people too much of extrajudicial right to exercise some legal homicide. But in this particular case, if you guys don't know the story, the guy goes into the store and he and his girlfriend park the car in a handicap spot, which is illegal. So, he should have found, of course, a regular parking stall. But
and I
whatever.
never understand that. Why do you?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in good health, anyways, or even in bad health, you should probably want to park a little further and walk. To wherever you need to go,
Dude,
anyways.
Hey, we live in California, man, where it was actually a lot of investigative kind of journalism dedicated to kind of uncovering the abuse of the disabled parking allowances. You see people with disabled placards and they very freely and with great apparent ease get out of their car, go into the store, buy 20 pounds of food that they're going to eat that night because they're a fucking fat American, and they walk very freely, unimpeded, with no debilitation back to their vehicle and hop in and drive away. You don't look handicapped to me, but you meet the list of medical criteria that the bureaucracy allows for you to pay to have that privilege. But that's another story, yeah. But like Brian said, like I never understood that. Like everybody's fighting for the fucking front of the parking lot. There's 50 parking stalls 30 feet away. Fucking stop being a fat American cow, Jesus. But anyway, back to this topic at hand. Yeah, so this guy's parked in the handicap stall, and all of these parking spaces are right by the store. They just probably pulled into the space that was freest to their interest. They entered at that part of the driveway, so they parked right there. Lazy. I'm sorry, I don't mean to call them lazy. That's not fair. I don't know them, so, but they shouldn't have parked where they shouldn't have. That's the law. So the guy goes in the store, he comes out, and the old guy who's parked next to them, he's tired of seeing this, like everybody's tired of seeing people break the rules and get away with that shit. So he approaches the woman, and he's scolding her, and maybe even a little abrasively. So the guy, as any guy would, I know I would, I'll break your fucking neck, if you're talking to my girlfriend in any way that I don't like. But I'll still be reasonable. I'll just tell you, hey man, look, I understand your frustration, but you got any issue, talk to me. Like, whatever issues are happening right now, I'm not okay with you expressing your frustration to her and my family. Just keep it between me and you, and we can figure out what the problem is. I probably wouldn't have pushed his old ass. But this dude, he, a little bit more aggressive and combatively than I think people would appreciate. He confronted the older guy, pushed him down to the ground. And so the old guy, not knowing if he's going to be attacked further, which I don't think he would have been. I think most people think they'd be safe if they stayed down and don't show any opposition. But at the same time, that's neither here nor there, because somebody push you down, you got the right to push them back, so on and so forth, to defend yourself. But instead of push back, this old man pulled out his pistol. This is Florida, and he decided to shoot back. Now I know everybody's heard this story, so the story is not the topic. The story is, at this point, it's 2018, December 12th. I don't know how old this story is now, like 2 years old maybe. But the point is, we're going to pick apart the idea of stand your ground and try to claw at a few of the flaws. In our particular case, I'm not a legal guru, so if anybody's going to be commenting on the channel like, but yeah, you didn't think of this, I'm a lawyer for Colombia, that's great. You know way more than me. I'm just pointing out this is anti-idiocy, so we just want to point out very simple alternative perspectives for the layman. And the one I thought of was, how about who actually initiated the conflict? Right? Like, who was the person that, without them, there wouldn't have been the catalyst for a bigger issue? Like, and I don't give a shit what race they are. That's why I'm not bringing that up, because people are gonna have their own biases. So just say person A and person B. Person A, the old guy. Person B, the guy that went in the store. Who of the two actually initiated the conflict between the two of them? So people can argue, well, person A did. I can't remember if it was A or B. Fuck, that's why people say black guy. Okay, the dude that drove up and parked where he wasn't supposed to park, people can say he initiated the conflict. Now, although he broke the law, which is a traffic law, it's not like, I don't think that's penal codes in California against where you park. You can say he initiated. There's penal codes that govern parking. Okay, never mind. I don't know much about law. Well, why are you guys talking then? Why are we listening to you? Because we're fucking funny. Shut up and listen, or go away. No, don't go away. Just listen. Give us a chance. All right. So you can say he shouldn't have parked there. He initiated the conflict. Well, what's a conflict? A conflict is a tension, between two entities that the two entities are not. Oh, stand your ground law. Brian's showing me this Wikipedia. Oh, this layman's definition of stand your ground. Okay, we'll keep that in mind. We're gonna cover. Yeah. Oh, you know what I'm saying right now, though?
Yeah, I'm following you.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like, who initiated the conflict? So you get this law that protects you to stand your ground, protect yourself, and that's what Brian's just showing me what it says. But we're still on the point of, like, doesn't it matter like who started the conflict? Like who is the catalyst for the conflict? And people can say, well, parking there was the catalyst of the conflict. And the reason that I don't agree with that is because laws are written by the state or by whatever governing body of a region you're in. The police would handle that. But this old man took it upon himself to be law enforcement, and that's not his right. So I believe he initiated the conflict because even though he saw what they did and they parked in an illegal parking space, it wasn't an imminent enough of the threat to society wasn't impactful enough to warrant some citizen intervention. So this guy, to me, is the one that initiated the conflict by confronting this lady about the parking spot. So the guy comes out and he doesn't know what's happening. The only thing he knows is defend his girlfriend. So of course he's gonna be not happy. So the old man gets pushed down because he initiated a conflict, and then he retaliated from that.
Let's simplify this a little bit.
Okay,
because it's a little too drawn out and broad. Because first of all, we don't know the law, and we don't know the true content of the story. So let's just say, for the sake of an argument, that we talk about the exactly what just happened.
Yeah.
So they park in a handicap spot.
Right.
He gets out of the car.
Right.
Forget the law. Forget everything else. Is that okay? Is that okay to defend yourself? Because he felt threatened, obviously.
Yeah, he got pushed.
Yeah. We don't know the bylaws of everything, and we don't know. So let's just keep it within that little circle. Is it okay that you get pushed down and then you decide, okay, I feel threatened and shoot somebody?
But that's what I'm saying. I think it's only...
Obviously, they thought well enough because they made a law for it.
Definitely.
So,
definitely.
It's kind of hard to dance. You were struggling there for a minute. You were dancing.
Hey, that's why it's two of us. Shit. Yeah, he's right. And I agree with the law. I just think that the law needs to, not overlook certain things that I think is important, right? Like, you need to know who started it. Okay, if I go through the most dangerous neighborhoods in America, and I call all of these gangster-ass thugs a bunch of bums, lazy government leeches, right? And we get into a physical fight, can I go back to my car and get an automatic weapon and open fire on all of them because they hit me first? I don't think that's fair because I went there and started a problem. So that's the only point I'm making, is that I think the law overlooks who initiated the actual conflict. And I think the old man initiated the conflict by saying something to this woman for parking in a handicap spot when he's not law enforcement, and what they were doing wasn't a felony crime, which I believe only felonies give citizens the right to. I don't know. You lawyers would pick that apart. Whatever.
Yeah,
I was under the impression.
Pick you apart.
Yeah, they're gonna pick me apart. Yeah, I don't care. Pick me up, whatever. But yeah, it's my understanding that citizens can act as liaison to the police department if they witness felonious activity. Like, it would have to be serious crime. Like,
I don't know if that's necessarily true. A crime's a crime. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Well, I know in California, being a security guard, you have the civil legal right to place a person under citizen's arrest if you visually witness them committing a misdemeanor crime, like obviously petty theft or shoplifting, or if in the case of a felonious accusation, if you have very believable, reasonable belief that these people were involved in what you suspect they were involved in, if it's a felony. So if it's a felony, you can just have strong, reasonable belief that they were the ones that did it, and you can put them under citizen's arrest. But you would have to visually witness a misdemeanor like shoplifting or petty theft to be able to put them under arrest. So I don't know how it is in Florida. I don't know if it's similar. I guess parking in a handicap space is a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
So I guess the old man had his right to step in. See, this is why we have discussions. I'm not trying to be right. I'm just trying to figure it out. So maybe the old man's not the guy that initiated the conflict. Maybe he was within his right to, after visually witnessing a misdemeanor,
And
rectify
we don't know
that problem.
the content in which he went at this lady. You know, so did
no doubt.
I mean, there's also a respectful way to do it. I mean,
Surely.
And if it sounded like he was being an aggressor,
Yeah, no doubt.
but
Yeah,
does
'cause
that
we-
give you a right to push him down? No,
Hell
it
no,
doesn't.
not at all. I mean, you actually, I don't know if there's any situation where you have the right to put your hands on another human. I mean, we're so used to that shit in high school. You got a problem with Billy or John or fucking whoever on the football team, you don't like that, you go in the back and you square up. Past 18, that's called a prison sentence. That's called assault, battery, like it passed as an adult. So you can't be touching people like nobody. You can't touch anybody without their permission. So yeah, you can't just go up on people and push them because you don't like what they're saying. But I think we can reasonably believe that he was abrasive, at least when he approached the lady about the parking space, because I'm sure he knew well enough that they knew what they did. You would be nice in the way you approach someone if you wanted to just inform them. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't know if you knew this, but you actually can't park there because these spaces are reserved for people with physical debilitating problems. So maybe you didn't know. I was just letting you know that probably best to find a regular citizen available parking space and leave these open.
And the thing
They
is,
knew it was handicapped, so
you never know who you're dealing with.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
And
Straight up.
here's a very good example, and I haven't talked to you about this yet. This last weekend.
Yeah.
Last weekend, a very close friend of mine.
Yeah.
Her cousin
Yeah.
was shot. Now, how it started.
Did you tell me that?
Did I tell you? Did I might have mentioned it to you.
I don't remember.
But basically, it was they had an argument.
Yeah.
There was two guys in the car,
Yeah.
and the passenger got an argument with the cousin, and it turned into an issue. Now, I'm not saying they were. I'm sure it wasn't all legit going on, but whatever.
Yeah.
And the driver happened to have just gotten out of prison 8 months ago, so
Yeah.
he's basically saying you're not gonna talk to somebody like that
Straight
that's
up.
in my car.
Mm-hmm.
And then so he goes and starts talking to him,
Yeah.
and he goes around, and ends up swinging on him. It's like, okay.
So the guy that was in prison for 8 months, or he got
Yeah.
out 8 months ago, he got out and said, "You're not about to talk to people like that in my car."
Right. He never got out of the car. I believe that he stayed in the car, and
Because they're all in the same vehicle.
well, the two are in the vehicle.
Okay.
The one is standing outside the vehicle.
Okay.
And he ends up swinging on him, and yelling. They get into a confrontation, and then he's like, "Okay, well," they leave. And a little bit later, some time goes by. Well, he comes back. Well, family members say, "Oh, hey, this guy's back," whatever. He goes outside to confront him, I guess.
Yeah.
And realizing by the time he gets to the car, he has a gun. Well, he's
Too
yelling.
late.
He's yelling at the rest of the family members, "Go in the house!" Well, that's all he could do. It was too close, and
Yeah.
and then he just pretty much unloaded on him.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Legally, surely. 'Cause
No.
He was
No.
being approached, attacked by some dude that left. Who knows what kind of weapon and came back? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
But
You can't approach people in a threatening way. That's I
Well-
believe called assault. You don't have to physically
I
hit
don't
them, but if you
necessarily think it was quite like that, because
Yeah.
I think regardless of what was going to happen, he was going to go to his house. He came there to look for him.
no doubt. Okay.
So him going out there,
Yeah.
which he shouldn't have done.
No, not at all.
Him going out there was not a smart move,
Right.
because common sense would say if we get an argument and someone leaves
Yeah.
and then he comes back later, more than likely he ain't coming back to have a good conversation
Yeah,
with you.
definitely, yeah.
Right? So
Yeah, hell no.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I mean, listen to Brian. I think what he's getting at, and I think it's important to say, like, They say do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Fuck that. I got a way more practical way of looking at it based on what Brian's saying. Treat everybody like they're the worst person in the world or the most famous person in the world. If you treat everybody like that, even if you can't fathom everybody's the most famous person in the world, you can't give that kind of respect, fine, don't do that. At least treat everybody like they're the worst person you're ever gonna meet, because you don't know who's gonna blow your motherfucking head off. So, what Brian's saying, yeah, like he had no clue that this guy just got out of jail 8 months ago, and he can.
He may or may not have. I don't
Yeah.
know I've got
Is that what you were saying? Like you never know who you're gonna mess with?
Yeah,
or run into?
yeah, but basically that's you don't know. I mean, we're talking about a older man that's a white male that gets pushed over and you get smoked.
Yeah, no doubt. You wouldn't. You wouldn't expect that.
There was no difference in the black man that got out 8 months out of prison.
Straight up.
You know, I mean, he could have been more, a gentle, kind guy.
Definitely, yeah.
You know, but you're assuming that an elderly white male is going to be
no
okay.
doubt,
No, it doesn't matter. You
Yeah,
know,
no
it's,
doubt. And he would have had a different approach given his perception of the target.
Right.
Definitely. And that's why I said, if he treated that old man like he was the worst person in the world, like he just got out of prison for serving 20 years for armed robberies and assaults and murder, you wouldn't do that. So why do it when you think that that's not the case? Because you're picking on people you think are weaker than you, and that's weak too. That's another dynamic of the story. Like, you know, don't perceive people to be weak, and make your actions follow the belief that you can take advantage of them, because you just might not. You might get shot. You know, that old man didn't look like he probably even had that. He probably just came from the range.
Right?
Motherfucker, home on the range. Home on the range. Where the deer and the antelope play. Yeah. He probably just came from singing that song. His finger was still hot. So, yeah, I mean, you know, we're not trying to make light and comedy out of the loss of life. You know, this guy got shot and killed, and that sucks. But, you know, we're just trying to be anti-idiots, you know. And you guys might think we're idiots still, and that's okay, because we're working on that. You know, if you is there commenting on podcasts? Can they?
Yeah, there is actually. I believe you can leave comments.
Oh yeah, you can leave comments. Okay, cool. You know, we're very welcoming to all kinds of criticism, and you know, all kinds of hate. You know, that's fine too. But yeah, so we're just trying to get a handle on this anti-idiocy. But yeah, so.
On a lighter note, you're going to a Kings Warriors game.
Oh yeah, that's right. Some Friday, right? The Warriors are the champions, 2018, right? That was the year they won, technically, even though it's still 2018 and it's a new season. Right. 2018 NBA champions, and I will be going to that game Friday, which will be December 14th, 2018. We got every one of these podcasts, we have to give like dates and those events, like you just said. That's cool. Like you give something that we're actually going to be doing. That way, when you listen to these podcasts, you can kind of hear in chronology a succession of time passing. Like, oh, those guys were doing this during that time, and that was back then. Wow, now look, it's 2019, and now they're millionaires. Damn. I need to start a podcast. Yeah, you should. You know, we're going to look back on this. So, yes, I am going to that Warriors-Kings game. Golden One Center, Sacramento, California. By the way, that is where we are. You know, this is Christian McCoy, as I said in the beginning, born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. From birth to 18, Cook County, Illinois. Shout out to all them 773s, 312s. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But now I live in Sacramento, California. And yes, I will be going to the Kings-Warriors game Friday, which I'm excited about. See Steph Curry do his magic in real life. See Kevin Durant, you know what I'm saying, dominate in real life. But the Kings, I think, did they play the Warriors before?
Yeah,
They've played them before this year, and I think they almost won in Oakland.
They tend to have pretty good games. You know, that's a local rival type of thing.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Even when one team or the other hadn't been that good.
Yeah.
I mean, a while back, Warriors weren't that good.
Yeah, that's right.
But the games were always exciting to watch between the two, because, you know, it's kind of like a Oakland...
Northern California thing.
Yeah, Oakland, San Francisco type of thing.
Yeah, hell yeah.
always tend to be exciting, a little more exciting
Straight up.
because of that
Definitely.
regional pride.
So yeah, you heard Brian, that's regional pride. So these Kings come out to play, man. You know, I'm from Chicago, born and raised, but you know, I'm not even about to say that. I don't root for the Kings. I'm sorry. Any Sacramento fans watching this? Yeah, no, man, I'm Chicago all day. So I'm just going to see a fun game. But yeah, I do expect the Kings to show up because, like Brian said, there's regional pride. I believe they played them like 2 weeks ago, and they lost by 1 point, I believe, in Oakland. So they play them on Friday here in Sacramento, Golden One Center, and I'm not expecting them to get blown away. So that's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I believe they play 4 times a year.
And you're right because they play again in January.
They
Yeah.
play 4 times a year.
Yeah, because I didn't know if I'd be able to make it to this one with Lil Goofy. Lil Goofy's my girlfriend. That's her name. And
She just doesn't quite know that yet. But
no, she knows it. You know, she knows it. But yeah, I don't know if we'll make it to the 14th, but I know there's one in January, so they play often. So there's no excuse to sit at home being fucking lazy. If you want to see your favorite team, oh, you missed that. Actually, in my defense, I would prefer to see the Bulls play the Kings, but I think they're done playing each other for the year. I know they've played a couple times prior to today, but
I believe they would only play once.
Yeah.
Because I think that's how it works. I haven't followed along basketball as much as I.
Because I don't know how the
usually have.
regions work. You know how that works?
Yeah.
Northern region, or how does that?
They got the East Coast, West Coast, and then they have
East-West division.
and then they have multiple divisions
Within
both sides.
that
Yeah.
subset. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, they probably wouldn't match up that often unless it was the playoffs, but good, because I hate the stress, man. Like, I don't know how people can be this sports fanatic type personality, because anytime I go to a Kings Bulls game, like, it's so stressful, and we always lose. And it's just like something about the way your brain and adrenaline and chemistry and your pride is all working together that makes you just sit there and like a stiff board, hoping and hoping, and when it don't go your way, every time it's like a stab in the heart. I just don't like that kind of roller coaster. So I'm happy to go to a Kings and Warriors game. Well, I don't really care who wins. I just want to see somebody get that light shot out. Metaphorically speaking, I'm from Chicago. I don't go around shooting people's fucking porch lights with pistols. Like, that's, I feel like I had to say that. Anti-idiocy, that's what we do. So yeah, eventually we'll get into sports commentary. But what you guys are going to find out is that we are the least knowledgeable, most fun people to listen to.
The least knowledgeable.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I'm sorry. But the good thing about that is when your brain isn't clouded with a bunch of knowledge, you can be creative. Because Einstein said that imagination is worth way more than knowledge. Booyah! I brought us back from that one. Oh, shit. But yeah, we're going to get on lighter stuff like sports, you know. We're not going to touch on super old contexts like Colin Kaepernick. Don't care no more. That's old, man.
That's old.
But
I mean, if it in relation to something. Maybe,
right, yeah, definitely.
I ain't really trying to chase that tail.
We can get abstract and make some long, drawn-out correlations.
Hey,
but
the movie thing might be fun, though.
Oh, yeah, movie reviews. I guess we're, in a way, giving you guys previews of what we're going to be talking about in the days coming ahead, because we're going to be doing a lot of talking, and you're going to be doing a lot of listening if you ain't a short attention span, easily bored, fucking phone twitcher. You're probably on the phone right now. Why am I listening to these jackasses? Well, at least we're on the phone. What I realized, though, I was talking to, I can't remember, it was like some clerk at some store, like, and she was on the phone. And I think she was on Instagram. I said, "Oh, who are you talking to?" She said, "Oh, it's just my friend on some social media app." And I realized to myself, I said, wow, I would be 20 times more interesting if I was in a 6-inch screen than standing here 6 feet tall. Interesting. I'll be more of an interesting person if I was in the phone than actually standing here. So that's why we're doing this cast too. What is it, podcast? Because, you know, I'm trying to capitalize on that. If you want me in a phone, I'll be in a phone. Okay? So now we're in the phone or wherever you're listening to laptop or whatever device. So I guess that's really all we're going to talk about today. If you're still listening, you're just listening to us kind of like brainstorm, which is interesting. What's wrong with you, man? Like, you don't got nothing to do?
Yeah, tell them all to go away. That's a good idea.
Oh, no. Look, I want you guys to be anti-idiots too, you know, and help us be more anti-idiotic, because I still feel dumb. But I think that these ideas about like how Americans think need to be attacked from the inside so that people stop looking at us as idiots, you know what I'm saying? Like, say academically, like I think we should definitely have implemented in the curriculum early in elementary school bilingual courses, like, you know. Everywhere else they learn multiple languages, and we're just like, all we know is English and barely even good English. I know you're listening to me like, can you enunciate a little better? I'm working on that too, like, you know, I'm talking about myself too, you know. So yeah, academically, we need to implement more practical curriculum, like being bilingual and vocational skills, like computers and fixing machines.
Real life training.
Yeah, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what Hitler did was cool too. You know, history's fun, but
What Hitler did was cool too.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? The history's cool. But yeah, ultimately, you know, we want people in America to be more skillful and less bigoted, less
I'm
idiotic.
trying to figure this. What Hitler did was cool too.
Yeah, oh man, I'm not trying to be anti-Semitic. See, that's the thing. Like, we end like doing this very public display, whether it be film, music, journalism, everything's like so sensitive. So if you can't tell by listening to me that I'm not anti-Semitic, which, okay, maybe in fair light you probably can't, I think you should be able to, by my very light of heart way of talking, that I'm not anti-Semitic, then, hey, man, I don't think me saying that is your problem, straight up. And, do they think that we're going to listen to them and talk shit about us? That's what this channel is about. It's anti-idiocy. We're talking shit about everybody. Us, anybody that has stupid ideas, and I think that's one of them. Like, you can't tell, like, people like me that might say something like, yeah, Hitler's cool too. You can't tell that I'm talking about, like, the idea of learning about the history is an interesting thing, and not that what Hitler did himself was a cool thing. If I got to break that down for you, then that's why we're doing this, you know what I'm saying? Because we're tired of people just running away with these stupid-ass complaints. I can't believe he said that. What?
Common sense.
Yeah, use common sense. You know what I'm saying? We're going to make common sense common. If it wasn't common before.
Because we do know that you don't agree with what Hitler did.
Absolutely, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not at all anti-Semitic. I don't even know what Jewish is. I'm still trying to figure that out. Brian, what is Jewish? Like, not the religion, but what is a Jewish person ethnically?
I don't know.
Nobody knows. I ask somebody out there is like shouting at the damn phone or screen, whatever you are listening to with. It's this and that, and it's this, you damn idiots. I know I'm an idiot. This is anti-idiocy. Put it in a comment. We're asking you, what is an ethnically Jewish person? Like, you know, can we look up that genetic code and say, okay, if we pinpoint this here, this part of the DNA, then that's a Jewish person. It seems like we just call a person Jewish because they have blondish curly hair. Like, I'm Jewish then, but my hair's black, but it's curly. It's curly as hell.
It's curly. It's.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put them on the sides.
I did that. Actually, I did that. I had the Hasidic rabbi. Is that how you say it? Hasidic, the traditional rabbi look with the curls on the sideburns. I did that specifically to represent that they're very, the financial acumen is world renowned. And I want to be rich because I'm a wealth mongerer. I'm that jackass. And I say it freely. At least you know. But yeah, am I Jewish though? You know, like, please tell me, how do I even determine that? Like, so yeah, you know, I don't understand how to.
It's, I mean, all races really. I mean, what is that? Okay.
No doubt. Oh, now we're going deep. Well, race itself is not even a biological, evolutionary, scientific distinction made by the scientific community. Race
Is based
categorization.
off a region?
Yeah,
I
it's
would
based
say
off region, but it's
more
purely
region.
sociological. That's the way that we sociologically describe the anthropological development of humans passed out of Africa, right?
And
But-
even then,
yeah.
I mean, there's no, I mean,
Mhm.
you know, if you give the count of how long that was, you
Mhm.
know, okay, we know that there's
Yeah.
bits and pieces of history scattered throughout the world,
Yeah.
but you know, to sit here and say, everybody was based out of Africa, or everybody was,
Mhm.
and why? Because we found more stuff there, you know?
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, what is it that really
Yeah.
defines that? Because
Mm.
because okay, there might be evidence of it. You know,
Mhm.
that's a good start.
Straight
okay?
up, yeah.
And that's what I'm assuming they're doing. But
Mhm.
if you talk to or if you watch this Discovery Channel or something, they
Mhm.
speak of it as factual.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to wrap my head around because
No doubt.
I mean, you look under oceans, you see cities under oceans. So
Mhm.
who's to say that that wasn't the beginning?
No doubt,
You know,
yeah.
that's the region that you know it. You know,
I
they have.
see what you're saying.
I
I think
don't-
you're making a geological reference to human evolution, and I think what scientists do, particularly evolutionary biologists and anthropologists, what they reference, they kind of trace the breadcrumbs of evolution backwards.
Mhm.
So the way that the distinctive differences in the phenotypes of humans seem to express our physical features different by region, they can trace like those changes back to like the progenitor, like the origin, the origination. And based on that breadcrumb chasing and following, based on genetic research and whatever they do to map the human genome and figure stuff out. Yeah, I said figure stuff out, just that's like so like not like journalistic, but whatever. Yeah, whatever the methods they use as anthropologists and evolutionary biologists, they trace the genetic development back to like this origin point, like how theoretical physicists trace the origin of the universe back to this singular point. That,
Yeah, I think that's a bunch of bullshit.
okay, yeah. Yeah, maybe it's the Anunnaki, you know what I'm saying? The aliens came down and they spliced DNA with Aboriginal
Hey, yeah, we're-
Australians and
Yeah, I don't. We're not tracing anything back to a dot that we all develop. You know, the universe developed from. We're not chasing that back. I don't give
Yeah.
a fuck about how much they try to sell me that one.
yeah.
It's like we didn't start at this point, and you're gonna convince me that's where we started because
Yeah.
first of all, I know you're full of shit.
Okay.
Because there's no way you're gonna know. I don't care how much studying you're doing.
Yeah.
There's a universe that's supposedly billions of years old,
Yeah.
and you're gonna tell me you can find the beginning of that?
Right, right.
Right? It's like
To us, I would admit, yeah, that sounds crazy and it's dumbfounding, but you know, that's smarter than us. So you know,
they ain't that smart. That
They ain't
much
that much smarter than
Yeah,
us.
common sense.
But at the same time, I don't want to go into a solidified knowledge base and then create a regression of inquisition, meaning the earth is flat. We're going to go back into that. Like, there's a strong body of science that shows the earth is spherical. Like, we don't want to sit here like, yeah, question everything.
Hey, I actually enjoy that.
Oh, you like
Yes,
that? Yeah.
It's very entertaining. I follow flat earthers.
Oh, shit.
Just because I love the fact that they created a world around this.
Yeah.
Like an actual
Yeah.
religion, so to speak. But
Yeah.
they've actually have a huge following on
They
this.
do.
And
So
it's
idiots
very-
like us can for sure
Yeah.
build the following. Like,
I find it interesting as a hobby to indulge in that as entertainment, I guess.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And it's entertaining, and it actually makes you question things because I have no doubt the Earth is round. You know?
Spherical, yeah.
So
the disc is round, but we want to point out that it's a sphere.
Yeah,
like,
it's
a ball.
Better way to put it. So, you know, but it's crazy to me because to listen to the theories behind the flat Earth,
Yeah.
and they're very good.
They're very good.
They're very good.
I
But-
believe Aristotle said that I can have an audience believe both sides of an argument.
Right.
Like,
And
that's what's
very
scary.
true. Yes.
That's what's scary about like logic and reasoning is that you can bend it.
right.
So yeah, they have very good arguments. Like
Right.
if you go on YouTube, you type in flat Earth theory, you'll see someone's aggregated list of reasons why that's true, and it's a very good list. And an idiot would 100% believe that the Earth was flat. Like, I mean, so you guys make your $1 million. I don't know what you're doing out there to become millionaires, but I'm sure you're working on it. Until you make your $1 million and take private space flights into the stratosphere, or which one, the ozone, whichever the fuck layer gets you above our atmosphere. Until you do that and you look and you see that nice, smooth, 360-degree tangential spherical curve from the point you view it, I guess you can't really know. But I'm not going to go into this regression. Is that your alarm?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, shit, it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay. What does that mean for you guys? You don't care it's 5 o'clock, 12/12, December 12, 2018 in Sacramento, California, but that means a lot to us. So are we wrapping this thing up?
I think so.
This is the first one in the books. Yeah, we talked a long time. Nobody's probably even listening this late, but it's 41 minutes. Okay, that's
Woo! That
wow.
went quick.
That did go quick. So we talked about a lot. We rambled a lot, and hopefully you guys have an idea of what the Fat Piggy Cow is going to be about, and hopefully we bring some value to amateur journalism.
Definitely some amateur.
Hey,
but
I'm not
real,
shy about it,
but real,
yeah, super real. Yeah, for
idiotic
real.
thinking, maybe.
Definitely. But I think we like real a lot of the times more often. Like it's real, right? To tell a girl, you know, I really like you. You know, I think you should come hang out with me, right? But what if I wanted to be professional? Hi, Maria. I think you're an excellent person. I think that you're wonderful around children. I think that you're a great role model and you set a good example for those that follow you. And I think those qualities make you a great mate. And I think that the possibility that we can probably be long-term partners is very high. And I think you should accompany me to the Morton Steakhouse restaurant for a nice late-night steak dinner. Yeah, you can be professional and all that. You don't want nobody fucking talking to you like that in real life. Like, so, you know, you go watch CNBC for all that other, you know what I'm saying? But we're going to talk to you real, even if it's amateur. Or we can get real jazzy and welcome you in with a nice, alluring voice. And you might even think that that seems genuine. And that seems like, oh, these guys are great guys. I want to listen to them. But even that ain't real, man. We're trying to be like down to earth, super real. So I think that concludes this first little Fat Piggy Cow talk. Brian, you want to say goodbye to these people?
Goodbye.
Okay. Hey, Fat Piggy Cow signing out. Tune in next time. Bye-bye.